Hi, I'm going to be demonstrating how to install Google's two-step authentication for password login on a Debian 10 server. This is really easy to do, but it's also really easy to stuff up and lock yourself out of your system, so please proceed at your own risk. Just don't try this for the first time on a critical system. First thing we need to do is install Google Authenticator on a mobile device such as a phone or a pad. You can either get it from the Play Store or it's available on Apple Store. I had a quick look on Microsoft Store but didn't see anything. It might be there, it might not. If you want to know why you're doing this, have a listen to this guy. Otherwise we'll get going. So I'm going to connect to my server via PuTTY from my desktop, as that's what I prefer. Let's go full screen. Use whichever SSH client you find easiest. Okay, open. Just gonna make this a little bit wider. Right. I've created an admin account for the purpose of this demo. Some SSH systems lock out root login, so you can't log in as root. Because we're not root, I'm going to have to put sudo before my commands, otherwise they won't work. So I'm going to go and try and get the software. Google Authenticator. Right. Okay, so that's that installed. So we've now got the software on our system. We haven't quite got to the point where we're going to lock ourselves out if we do anything wrong, but we're getting close. If you do lock yourself out, you can still log in without Authenticator via recovery mode in Linux, or by mounting your drive onto a different system and undoing the changes that we're making. But both those methods require access to the hardware or virtual hardware. Remember, you can install all the security you want, and it amounts to very little if someone has access to your physical hardware or your virtual hardware. This system is also currently set up to accept RSA Keypairs. So if you have a remote system with an insecure account with a corresponding key, then that's another way in which a hacker could gain access to your system without using the two-step authentication. Okay, warnings out of the way, let's do this. I'm going to open up the SSH config, as that's what I'm going to use to connect to this in the future. I need to secure that and make sure I can actually still connect to it. So we're going to do sudo nano. I'm using nano, you can use vi or whatever you find easiest, etc. sshd config. Right. There are other security methods you can implement, like changing your port, but make sure if you do that your firewall is configured appropriately. But what we're looking for is challenge response authentication. So I'm going to go down a bit. Here we are. So we need to set this to yes. So we need to uncomment it and set it to yes. If we do not do this, then you will not be able to log in once we've changed the PAMD configuration. Because it won't request an authorization code off you. Right, so let's hit exit. Save the file. And we're going to restart the SSH configuration. So we need to sudo service sshd restart. Okay, before we modify PAMD configuration, we will need to run Google Authenticator for every single account that we want to be able to access via login or SSH before we enable it. So we're going to actually run this first of all on the root account by doing sudo Google Authenticator. We want time-based tokens. Right, okay. We need to make the screen a bit wider and a bit bigger because this is a text-based QR code and it's being stuffed up by the width of the window. So I'm going to expand the window and I want to go no because that doesn't make very much sense. I'm going to run that again, so sudo Google Authentication, or sorry, Google-Authenticator, and I want to go yes. Right, now it's generated a QR code, and I will go into my app on my phone, and I want to click on the plus button in the bottom right hand corner of Google Authenticator on the phone, or the pad, or whatever you've installed it on, and I want to add that, scan a QR code. So I'm going to scan that in and it'll beep and it'll say account, add account. So now I've got vulnerable server, root at vulnerable server, and it's given me a 6-digit code. As you can see, there are some scratch codes here. You might want to copy those and print them and put them somewhere safe that isn't digitally stored in case something happens to your device that you've stored this code, this Google Authenticator on. So I want to update my root. As you can see, it's the root account. So I want to click yes to this. So now we've saved the file. Do you want to disallow multiple uses of the same authentication? No, I tend to log in a lot, so we're going to click yes to that. Oh, sorry, no to that even. I want to allow a skew of 4 minutes because I'm a bit slow. And I want to enable rate limiting because I don't want, the system isn't hardened against brute force attacks. Yes. Right. Now we need to do the same, but for this account, the admin account. So I'm removing the sudo. So we're going to run Google-Authenticator again. And we want to do time-based tokens, yes. It's giving me another QR code, which I want to add to my Google Authenticator on my phone. Scan QR code. Here we go. It's giving me some more scratch codes for this login, which I probably want to store in my safe as a printed version. I want to add that to my home admin. So this is the home account for this login. I'm going to yes. Again, no, I don't want to do that. I want to add the skew, and I want to add the brute force attack system on. So as you can see, those are now on my my phone, and they're counting down, and they'll reset every 30 seconds or so. And I'll need these codes in order to be able to log back in again. So yeah, they've changed. Okay, let's go back. You will also need to do this on every other account that you want to be able to log in. Otherwise, you won't be able to log in again because it'll ask for a code which you won't have. Also, you wouldn't normally show your code to other people, but because this machine is about to be scrubbed after this demo, I'm not too worried. So let's restore the screen back to a sensible size. Okay, now comes the slightly dangerous part. We're going to go and modify the PAMD configuration. So I'm just going to bring up the directory, etc. pam.d. So as you can see, there are a couple of files in this folder. The one we're going to be modifying is common-auth. If you only want to modify it so you can for SSH user, then modify the SSHD file rather than common-auth. but for this demo we're going to modify common auth. Right, so sudo etc pam.d common auth. Let's try and do that with the Nano, which is our text editor. Right. So at the bottom of this file, I'm going to add an extra line, which I'm going to copy and paste because I can't be bothered to type it in full. So auth required pam_google_authenticator.so. I'm going to save that. Right, now that's fixed in stone. Next time we come in, we're going to have to give our code. Okay, now we're going to go and test it. It's normally a good idea to actually leave your current terminal open and open a new one, because if anything has gone wrong, then with our existing terminal we can still make modifications, and if we close it down then we're a bit stuffed. But I kind of have done this a couple of times, so I already know it's going to work. So I'm going to close this one down. Yeah. Let's open a new session and switch to full screen. I'm going to enter my details. Right. So open. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to log in again as admin. I've got my phone ready. I'm going to put in my normal password. And that's asking for a verification code. This is my admin account, so I don't want to use the root one. 81934. That was from my phone. It does not appear on the screen. Okay, so we've logged in. That worked. Now, here's why we put it in the common auth rather than in the SSHD. If we decide to switch user over to root, it's going to ask me for my root password, but it will also ask me for my verification code, which is 925075. Okay, we're in. Obviously from root we can go anywhere without using verification codes or anything like that, because root gives you absolute authority over the system. We can also get in from another system if we've set up an RSA Keypair. So, thanks for watching. If this was in any way helpful, please like it and or subscribe to my channel, and I'll try and make some more. Thank you very much.